only thing I would mention again, John,
Yes?
is related to quorum and related to getting people to be able to make the meetings. We might want to follow up and, I don't know, see if when people are not going to make a meeting, that they try to get somebody as a stand-in.
Okay.
I don't think we have a problem with that, and if it's an issue, if it's a consistent issue, then obviously we want to know that. So, one, we make sure of that, but if there's any ability to get a stand-in, that would also be good. So
Okay.
just kind of continue to follow up on things we've been following up in that realm.
Okay. Are we open to moving the meeting at all if there's people who are having trouble making this on a routine, or are we pretty much happy with where we are there?
I think we're getting open to maybe flexing one of the meetings
Okay.
to a different time.
All right. Alrighty. I'll ask folks if the current meeting time is causing them any problems on a routine basis, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah. I don't know, and this is where I want to be careful, but John, maybe you could separately, and then you don't have to call anybody out, but if there is somebody who is consistently not attending, we might want to address that separately.
Okay. Yep. We've already begun that effort in one area, so we'll continue to press ahead with that.
Okay. All right. So with that, we've got the role. John, you've got Mark, who's here for the moment.
Right.
And we'll continue on. We'll have this recorded like you always do, and let's hear from Ken on what's going on.
Okay, so not a lot of updates since our last 2 weeks. We've been almost exclusively focused on the DXP migration, and then we had travel to the STI review at the end of last week. But so that's been our focus. We're making good progress there. We're shooting for the. We're getting a little bit of feedback, so if someone wants to mute on their end. We're shooting for late January with the holidays coming up, and I'm hoping that by early next week we'll have a theme on the site. So that's our main focus at this point, because a lot of the issues that we're working on for the vid are tied with DXP.
Sounds good, Ken.
Yeah.
You had there was the open action item from last time. We'll review later, related to the new sort of theme. We'll go back to that later.
Sure.
And I do think if we looked at, and I don't know. This would be interesting. Ken, or you and John, able to maybe do a summary of the year in tickets, or something like that, where, because I think like you said, done a lot of work, and it'd be interesting to sort of summarize that work for the year.
I think John, you already did some of that, didn't you, in terms of like burn rates and things like that? But I don't know if we've done like a summary for the year as a whole. You there, John?
Sorry. We have not actually captured a list, of things that were accomplished during the last year. So we could certainly do that. It would be a real easy matter of just creating a list of the tickets, for example, that were closed out this past year. And then we do also, let me show this one slide. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so it's, let me find it. Ah, here it is. Okay. So although not specifically addressing your question, it is one way to sort of visualize that information. So during the last year, which would account for basically from the beginning of 2017, you can see that we increased the number of closed tickets from about, say, 10 up to about 20. So we had probably 10 or so that we closed out. I think we should take an action item, and I will create a list of the tickets we closed during the past year, and then we can talk about it at our next meeting.
Sounds good. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Okay, John, the next item is to look at the status of the ranking of different issues.
Okay. So we've made some good progress. The first thing to note is that we're talking about the tickets in this white area. These are the ones that are basically involved in the ranking process at this point. And 3828.2 has basically 100% of the folks who could give us input having given us input. So certainly, if there are no objections, we can go ahead and take the impact score of 9 and update the ticket so that we can essentially finish up that process of reviewing and commenting on this one. There was actually another suite of, I think there were 5 tickets, and you can see them. Let's see, they are the ones right up here at the top. And those have received very good input as well. Certainly, we have a quorum. Let me see if I can make this visible on the whole one page. Oh, there we go. Back up one. All right. So you can see these first 5 or so. We've got good input. We could certainly continue to wait for Alaska region, perhaps, to provide us their input. And NIMFS has been very slow in providing feedback as well. So we could certainly proceed ahead with the input we have thus far. And then the final one, we actually started reviewing that just after our last meeting. So again, we've got some good input, but perhaps we could leave it open to get a few more folks to give us their thoughts. And that's what I have. So I guess the item before us is, shall we go ahead and close out 3828.2, which is the ideas, marketplace improvement ideas?
Yeah, I think definitely close that one out. It's been ranked by everybody. The other ones, I think you give them one final week or so, and if they don't, then close them out because the quorum has been met on them.
All right, one more week then.
And yeah, so Nate's on the call today. If he wants to, Nate, you'll get another week to put any Alaska region input.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks.
No problem.
All righty. So, next item.
Okay, John, you bring up the candidate issue. We probably won't. I don't think we can officially nominate this time, but we can at least introduce it. There's an issue with the announcements portal, and it had been a previously identified issue, but I brought this up again. What's happening is the announcement is not specific to any community or anything like that. So, John, if you can go to like the VIT front page, not the VIT front page, the VLab front page.
Okay.
For the community side.
Sure. Hold on one second. I'll well, let's see. I think if I just click here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're good. And then scroll down a little on the right.
On the right side.
Yeah. and go below the VLab outage notifications, there's a portlet called announcements, and for some reason it's not even showing up for you.
Right, I guess I don't have any announcements.
Okay. But basically the thing there is the announcements are not specific or not easily configurable. So if you wanted to put an announcement portlet into a community and you wanted to just have announcements for the community, it's not specific to the community, it's specific to the user. So
that's correct.
Hoping to, I think, maybe configure that, or maybe make it a little bit more configurable to at least allow some sort of announcement portlet that you could make announcements within a community as necessary and make those specific to the community.
And we want to use announcements as opposed to just like web content because you want it to go out to them via email. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Because obviously you can put in web content and bold and everything, whatever you want that's specific and only going to be viewed there. But
yeah.
All right. It's a scope issue, so
okay.
I suspect it wouldn't be too difficult to make that change. Yeah. So
perfect.
Yep.
I'm gonna wait, John, on officially nominating that until we have a quorum, maybe at the next meeting.
Okay. So bring this back on the agenda for next time.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll have a few other tickets to nominate at that point.
All right.
So, but I just wanted to introduce it to the folks here today. All right, so now we're on to the open action item review, John.
All righty. So let's see. I think I have that. Where is it? Oh, well. Get it on this side, I guess. Oh. Yeah. I gotta make this smaller, otherwise we'll never see it. Okay. So we'll go down our list of action items, and I have to admit we're really keeping up on these. We've only got a few open now, and that's great news. So we'll have to make our way down to the. Okay, so the first one we run into is dealing with our strategic planning team. Bill Ward's working this, and hopefully they'll be handling the development of a charter for their team here in the near future. It would have been nice if Tammy were here. She could have told us if there was any update on her efforts to talk with Eric Rasmussen on ideas he had for enhancing the VLab. And I suspect that one should be closed out fairly soon, because it's been open quite a while. We also have, related to the strategic planning team, the need to consider, or possibly consider really, including policy topics as well as enhancement ideas in their charter. Okay, and then we've got one for Ken, and this is he was going to add all National Weather Service VLab users to the NWS organization / community, and that would help with the Ideas Marketplace subscription management. And Ken, any update on that?
That has not been done, but we'll get that in. That's an easy change. So
if there's something I can do to help with that, I know your bandwidth is not really open. I'll be happy to help.
Yeah, if you just create a ticket on it, then we'll make sure and get it done.
Okay, ticket, got it.
Thank you.
Yep. And let me see, were there any others? I think that may be all. Yeah, so that concludes the review of open action items. Now, Brian, you'd mentioned that you thought there was another action item open.
I don't know. Did I?
At the start of the meeting, when Ken was giving his talk, you said something like,
oh, didn't you have an open action item on review of the new template for the front page?
That I don't think is. We do have that as an ongoing effort. It wasn't an action item coming out of one of our meetings per se, but I can show you under the VIT process. Let me see if I can get that up quickly. Hold on one second. That makes sense. Okay, so if we go to our team discussions, and then under bit process, so we've got bit input on VLab homepage, and I can bring that over so we can all see it. And I believe I can bring that up. Let's see, this is the dev version, right? Oh, okay, he's going to want me to sign in. How nice. Okay, so this is the dev version of the VLab landing page, and it's going to look a little, you know, not well put together because of the theme issue, but you can see that we've added this My Sites thing on the right side or left side, and then we've done some enhancements on the right side here, as well as down for VLab notifications. And so that's the kind of thing we were looking for. Oops. Yep.
So we'll have the same theme, but just a little, but the changes.
Yes, there will be an attempt, and maybe Ken can elaborate, to make it look very similar, but not identical probably to the previous version. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there's going to be, yeah, the look and feel will be very similar. The things that have changed, and I don't know if we've shown this before, but basically it more impacts the site administrators or the community administrators and us as administrators of the portal as a whole. It's all on the left, and so I guess, John, if you go back to the development, we can give a very quick preview of it. We've got a bug right now that we're trying to fix that basically, if you change it to group guests to guests like 2 or something like that up there. Okay. And then go back. Okay. So that little icon at the top there, if you click on that, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was I supposed to click on?
The icon at the very top. So you did that. So that basically displays and removes the menu, much akin to the redesigned Google Calendar. We're looking at moving that icon left of the logo for VLab. But basically, everything you need to do as an administrator is up there. Your personal stuff is under John. Your sites are there. So, like, if you click on that little wheel, and we're going to make this more prominent next to Development Virtual Lab. If you click on that, John, this then takes you to the sites that you've gone to recently. Unfortunately, he hasn't gone to any recently. But then you click on My Sites, and then that would show all of your sites. So it's kind of nice. Now, the nomenclature is going to change to, we haven't rolled out the update because we use the word communities versus sites. That's the default with Library. So that'll be consistent with what the language that's used today. But this is your complete listing of all your communities. And what happens is, as you're using the site, the things that are used most often are going to be on your recent page, and you'll be able to get to that. You'll be able to, if people upload an image associated with their site, it would show up there. And then you can search and everything else. And then you'd basically click on the link on the name itself to go to the particular site itself. So if you want to go to one, that'd be fine. So anyway, but there's a lot of work going on in this area. There's a lot of changes that will make this look much nicer. At the moment, unfortunately, the default theme doesn't support more than 2 levels deep within the menu bars, and so we're changing that to support at least 3. So, yeah. But yeah, that's like a 1-minute overview. And if we're not using the icons, we would probably get, I think there's if you scroll up to the top, I think you can change from a tile type perspective to a listing. Yeah, those icons there will give you descriptive versus the other. And so these are areas that we're going to be focusing to make it more streamlined. So
where's the vid? Oh, here we go. Let's see what we look like. Huh. Cool.
Yeah. Go back to the homepage, John. The VLab homepage.
Right there.
Or how do you get back to the VLab homepage?
I just clicked on the. I thought I clicked on the ball. No, a ball.
That's changed. The default behavior has changed here. We haven't rolled out that update because we overrode that to have that always take you back to the home. So you can click on. You have to click on that
wheel.
Yeah, the wheel again, and go to My Sites, and then go to virtual. It's development virtual lab here.
Oh, it's development. Oh, okay, so that'd be the next page. Probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're gonna change that.
No, we want to make it really hard to get back there.
Okay.
I'm joking. Yes, we will be changing that.
I don't see it, Ken. Are you sure it's a development virtual lab?
I thought it was, but I could be wrong.
Let me check and see.
So, you know, this. See, now you appreciate all the things that we've done to fix life, right? It's not alphabetical here. It's based upon. It falls under guest. So, yeah. So, anyway, you may want to just do a search for. There it is. I think I saw it.
Did you see it? VLab. No. No. Let's do a search. Let's see if I can find out. All right. So let's see if that works. Okay.
Search for guest.
Guest. Okay.
Yeah, because this doesn't have some significant improvements that we've put in place. So.
We're not claiming that this is ready for prime time, folks. This has got a lot of work left to be done. All right, so we're back there, Brian.
And he probably wants to go to the private page, so click on that little icon.
This one?
At the top, yeah. And then go to, so you can go to navigation.
Navigation, okay.
And then click on private pages on the right. And again, this sort of stuff will be much more streamlined.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to look here. I mean, okay. So if anybody has any final comments, the deadline was last Friday, but send them to Ken. But I think we're, like you said, Ken, this is pretty much, it should be just a functionality upgrade more than anything.
Right. Right.
One other quick sidebar, Ken, if you're trying to log into this development version and I'm already logged in, it's just hanging.
Yeah, we're working. That's our top priority at the moment. Single sign-on, we think it has to do with the self-signed certs. It's getting to the last point and it just doesn't ever go through. So I've got Jason Burks, who's one of our senior engineers, working on that right now. So yeah, it's an issue. Yep.
Sounds good. I guess that's part of our open forum today. Anything else to bring up?
Yeah, I have one thing, Brian, if it's all right.
Okay.
One of the other things we've got open for